Why is it that breaking up with a partner, with a romantic partner, is considered normal when you consciously do so? But when it comes to friendship, that's not the norm. It's just like, let it dissolve, let it go away, let us run away. I'm here to tell you a different way. I'm gonna tell you how and why you should consciously break up with friends. We're gonna dive into it in this episode. But first of all, I want to welcome you to the Conscious Manual, where I help you to love yourself so you can love yourself and actually create a reality that you want to live. How a friendship commonly ends is either by ghosting, so just disappearing out of the world and ignoring them, or in conflict. And then, yeah, just let it explode. And both of these are the old way of doing, because it's too uncomfortable to have an actual conversation with your friend of how you see things, of why you're ending it. Now we're coming into the new way of living, the new way of the new earth, where we do everything consciously. Where, if it's appropriate, we'll talk about this later in the episode, if it's appropriate to consciously break up with a friend. Not always necessary, you can also redefine a relationship, but if it's appropriate to end it, then it's the right way to consciously do so. Now, why do relationships actually end? Why do we actually connect with people? That's because we have soul contracts. Before you came into the planet, you chose every single person that you would encounter in this lifetime. Some people would be for 10 seconds at the supermarket. And other people would be in your life for 30, 40 years. Like your parents, your whole life, your children. You choose them. And some soul contracts are meant to be a specific period. You chose, for example, to have a best friend for 5 years. And when that soul contract expires, you are meant to let go of that person because you've learned the lessons. And you will feel when it's time to let go. Sometimes you're afraid to let go. And so you keep holding on to that specific relationship, to that specific friendship, even though you feel it's time to let go. When you don't let go, even when it's right, even when you feel so, you keep yourself from growing because you're keeping new doors tightly shut. You're like, no, I'm gonna keep on to the old, even if it doesn't feel right, because I'm afraid of the new. But guess what? In the unknown is where the magic happens. You can't create from a known space. So for the new to come in, sometimes you need to let go. People, places, things, emotions, patterns, memories. Now we're talking specifically about friendships here. Maybe you've had a best friend for 20 years. And now you're feeling like, oh no, it feels like this is coming to an end. This is not feeling right anymore. We've been friends for so long, so I'm just gonna keep ignoring that for old time's sake. Just keep the friendship. Like you're keeping it in a coma and you're not letting new things in. When your soul contract expires, you can thank the other person, you can thank yourself for the beautiful time you had. And then you can move on. And it's perfectly beautiful and also to mourn. You can mourn a friendship that's past, that stopped. Even when you broke up, even when you stopped the relationship, even when you stopped the friendship, you can mourn that. You can mourn that beautiful time you had. Cherish the memories and keep on walking forward. You don't need to hold on. You can let go and go to the next step. How does it happen now that people want to break up friendships, that they want to stop friendships? Several ways. A common one is that only one person in the dynamic evolves. Maybe you've delved deep into the spiritual realm. This is what happened to me. And the other person didn't. So you started to grow apart. You felt that they were staying there and you were growing and growing and growing. Not that you're better than the other person. It's not like where they're at is not good. Or where you are is better. Just different. You are growing and you feel like they are on a different level, in a different atmosphere. So this disconnect keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It can also mean that both of you are growing, and they are just growing in a completely different direction. Maybe they're climbing the career ladder, and you're delving into the depth of your soul, and it's completely the opposite direction. That's typically how people grow apart, also in relationships. And another way is that both of you grow together in the friendship. You grow in your own way, the other person grows in their own way, and you understand each other, you support each other, even if the interests are completely different. And that is just a connection that you feel, that is an energetic match. Even when what you are experiencing in life is totally different, your energetic frequency is the same. You are vibing at the same frequency. What are now the symptoms of a relationship or a friendship is coming to an end? First of all, is after a meetup or a connection, you feel drained. You don't feel good anymore. And in the past, you would always end the call or get a meetup. You would be like, yes, this was fantastic. Let's do it again. And now you hang up the phone and like, damn, I don't want to hear you for 3 months. You're also starting to build resentment. You might start building resentment. All these symptoms, you don't have to have all of them. Even just one is a clue of where this is going. But you're building resentment towards the other person. Maybe projecting your own shit onto them. Or like things they're saying or doing like oh thanks, I don't want to hear it. Which can also transition into actually avoiding them. Starts off small, replying later, making excuses for not meeting up, and so on. You can also feel less drawn for actually connecting or for meeting up. You don't really feel it at all. And in the past, you would jump on an occasion to be with them, and now I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want to connect to you. And then the last one is that you just feel less interested to share your life with them. And even more, you don't want to hear what they're sharing about their life. You actually don't care. It doesn't interest you anymore. You're like, whatever. All of these together are big clues that your soul contract is expiring or expired already. And it is time to let the other person know or let go. The relationship either needs to change or needs to stop. There are 4 ways to continue from this point. I'm going to start with the first one, which is a toxic one. It's the ghost. This is the old way of just starting to ignore the other person. Your friend texts you to meet up and you don't answer, calls you, tries to find you, but you never reply anymore. You just disappear. I'm telling you that is not the way, because you will attract new people in your life where this same pattern happens again. You will become friends, and at a certain point, you will ghost them or they will ghost you until you've dealt with this in a conscious manner. So the toxic way, the ghosting, we're not going to do that anymore. It's easy, doesn't feel uncomfortable, or maybe a bit, but not as much as really consciously going into this. But it's going to haunt you in the back. It's going to come back to you until you've resolved it. So a good way to start with this is to actually check in with yourself. What is mine? What is my shit in this dynamic? What am I projecting onto the other person that is actually coming from a fear within myself? Something that is triggering within me that I'm saying is the other person's fault. So you're actually taking responsibility. Instead of pointing the finger at them, you're looking inwards. Why is this happening? Why am I feeling this? What is unhealed within me that is causing me to feel this way? And if it's not your shit, then you can move on. But I'm advising you to first check within. So when you're starting to feel all of these emotions, all of these insights, and you're seeing the symptoms in a connection with someone else, you give yourself some time. You don't act on this immediately. You let it settle. You now have this awareness. You check in what is mine, what is actually theirs. And when some time has passed and you've gained understanding about what is yours and what is theirs, you go to the next phase, which is having a conversation with the other person, sharing how you're feeling, sharing what's going on between you two. And you take this from a personal space. You're not attacking the other person. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. No, I am feeling this. You've been friends for so long, and I'm feeling this in connection with you. And you have an open conversation. It might be just that there needs to be a redirection of the relationship. Let me give you an example of my own life. In the beginning of this year, I was very close with a friend. We called regularly. We had a lot of meetups. He knew a lot about my life, and I knew a lot about his life. But I started to notice that I liked sharing stuff about my life, and I did not like it at all. And he shared stuff about his life. And first of all, that wasn't being honest to myself, not authentic to who I am, and I was feeling drained. So I started to see the symptoms. So what happened? I gave it some time. I knew we had to have a conversation, and I started avoiding it because it felt uncomfortable. But then we had a phone call where I shared everything that I was feeling between connection, that I wasn't feeling anymore to be that intimate with him, that I wanted to have space in our connection and not share our vulnerabilities to each other. It's okay to meet up and have fun, but not in that deep way anymore. It was a beautiful conversation. He understood everything and he saw it. And over the months, we still saw each other in meetups with other friends, not one-on-one anymore. And in one of the last meetups, we had a beautiful conversation of how beautifully this evolved. We get along well. We love each other as friends, but we've gained space. Now, I could have easily chosen to ghost him or fuck this shit. But I've chosen to just redirect the relationship. And that worked for us. But maybe that doesn't work in every situation. Sometimes the contract just ended. Instead of just changing, it ends. The other person can be really toxic to you. They can hold you down. You can have gained awareness that actually you're not serving me anymore. I've seen my shit. I'm growing and I don't feel like you're supporting me in this. Or whatever it feels like. When it really feels, you've had the conversation, you have to check in. That there's no more space to change. And the last outlet is to break up with your friend. Is to stop the connection. And that I highly advise as well to have a conversation. To do this in person. A text, you also don't want to be. I would hate that. If I get a text from my girlfriend, hey, we're done. Ciao. No, not at all. Let's have a conversation. End this on a high note, beautifully with love. I love you. I feel like this is ended. And I set you free. We go our separate ways. And that's a conscious breakup with a friend. Now, once again, example from my personal life. I had a romantic connection a few years ago. Very deep. We didn't see each other for a year and a half. Then we started reconnecting. And I started feeling old wounds popping up, like expectations, shit popping up from me. Like, what is my role? I checked it in. And then I checked with her. Like, what are your expectations with this? And I felt like it was on a different level. You weren't meeting each other, at the same level. So I went through all the steps. I didn't feel like there was a way to actually come to a healthy middle where we could be friends. And I felt like I just can't be friends with her. I always expect more, and that's not fair to myself and to her. So I decided to end the friendship. This is only 2 months ago. And it was beautiful. I got to open my whole heart, share how much I care about her, and also say, I just can't be friends with you. And I did it very consciously. And it was painful. And it was challenging. But I'm so happy I did it. And then I did it in a loving way towards her. Not of get the hell out of here. but like, thank you for everything you did, and I set you free, and I set myself free. That is the new way of doing it. It feels so much better. And I've done it now a couple of times. It always feels uncomfortable. And maybe it will be less uncomfortable in the future. I don't know. But I'm doing it. Have I done the ghosting in the past? Yes. Because that was the easy way. When I was younger, I did that many times. In my friendships, I was always the one making drama. I would target the person most popular in the group, have a fight with them, then pretend to be the victim. This was all unconscious. I can see this now years later. And then just like the whole group dissolved because I was making drama. Because I was afraid of not being seen. Because I was afraid that I would end up alone. So what did I do? I destroyed the friendship first. So I could play the victim and like, see, look what he did. I didn't take responsibility. Yes, I was young. Yes, I didn't know what I was doing. I was acting from childhood trauma. But now I'm doing this from a conscious space. Not ghosting, not making drama, checking in first with myself. What is true to me? What am I projecting to the other? Redirecting it if it's possible, if you want it. And if that's not what you want, if that's not possible, then you can let each other go. I've let a few beautiful people go this year because I'm growing and I felt that I was holding on for old sakes. It's okay when you grow to let go of people that were in your past before and are not in your present or in your future. I lived in South Africa for 4 years. When I came back, December 2022, I had zero friends in Belgium left. Zero. Because everybody I knew in the past, I didn't relate to them anymore. I was literally a different person. I stepped into a new timeline and they were still in the old timeline. So I had to rebuild my life. I had to go look for other people that were in my new frequency. And I found them quickly, actually. And then over the years, people fell away. I had short, beautiful friendships that I saw then. I was still bonding from a hurt place, looking outside of me for someone to make me feel enough, whether in a friendship or whether in a romantic partner. And a common fear that might pop up when you do this process, when you actually consider letting someone go, letting a friend go that you've known for a long time, that you hang out with a lot, is a fear to end up alone. But the fear, if you start with this person, another person, another one, and another one, that you end up alone. And yet, one of your fears, abandonment issues. This is coming from childhood, and I'm telling you this because this was also my stuff. But when you start loving yourself, and you know that you're whole and complete, and that you don't need anybody outside of you, that fear will dissolve. You close one door, you close a friendship that actually is not serving you, that is draining you, that is taking your magic away. You let that go, and 3 new doors open. 3 new people come into your life from the weirdest angles. You meet them at the supermarket, meet them at the gym, you meet them bumping your head on the street, wherever, and they end up being special people in your life. You just never know. But what you need to do is make space. Let go of whatever drains you, especially if it's a human being, because they are soul suckers if they are not in your aligned frequency. Let go of that or you redirect. First, you check in with your shit, and then you can choose from a conscious place. But if you're breaking up, consciously letting go, thank you. Thank you and goodbye. Wish you the best. Then new doors will unlock. You need to trust that because when you look back in your life, that is how you've met every single person outside of your family. You never knew you were going to meet them. You've met them randomly at the most random spaces. People that are special to you today, you might not have known a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years ago. At some point in your life, they were not in your life. You have met them because at that point you had let go of previous stuff, even when you had no clue about it. but you made space for new people to come in, people that actually resonate with the new you. And the more you grow, people are either going to evolve on your level or they're going to fall away. Sometimes naturally, sometimes you need to do something. But honor where you're at. Don't let anybody drag you down. You just keep growing, and leading the way. You don't need to drag people up. You just need to show where you're going, and then you are going to attract people coming towards you. And then you are going to attract people that are grown above you or beyond you, which you then go step into. And that's how it works. The ripple effect. You're making a snowball. That's how you make a change. By being you, in your frequency, in your unique you-ness. Be conscious is what this is all about. And you will feel so much more fulfilled. I'm telling you, when you've let go of that person, when you've redirected your focus, when you've changed the relationship, your friendship, when you've checked in with yourself, you'll feel amazing. You'll be so proud of yourself. And that's what this is all about. It all points back to you. How do you feel about yourself? How do you support yourself? What you're looking for in friendships, you can also give to yourself. So everything outside of you just becomes a bonus because you feel whole and complete within. And then a friendship, romantic partner, children, career, whatever becomes a bonus because you are whole. And that you can remember right now. I love you. Remember, you're epic, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.